Greetings, my friend. Welcome to the secret shop.
Hello and welcome back to the secret shop, everybody. I am Neon and I am joined by my very festive co-hosts, Simon and Anger. I know I'm Neon, I know that one. So, Simon, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing really well. Christmas has been wonderful, and I hope all of our listeners have had a wonderful couple holidays.
And Anger, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm comfy as heck. How are you doing?
Doing really well. So, great, of course, to start off with our warm-up question. I think the obvious one for today is what we've been doing over the holidays. That's been, a fun moment or something along those lines. So for me, it's been just hanging out with my son a bunch, because Christmas is a lot of fun to do with kids like that. He's 3 years old. Probably like one of the fun highlights for it was actually I was like showing him. So he's really, really into dinosaurs. He fucking loves dinosaurs. Like, kid just does not shut up about them. And so I actually was showing him some clips online of from Jurassic Park, and like showing him like one of the entrance scenes where they're like, there has like that big epic music in the background, like do 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 do, and then like the dinosaurs, yeah, and like that like famous scene, and I was like showing it to him, and his like eyes like go like huge. You're like, wow, dinosaur. So it's been great doing that kind of shit with him. So that's been my holidays. What about you guys? Let's start with Simon. Do you have any fun moments from your holiday fare?
Plenty. I've been spending Christmas with my family and my girlfriend, and my nephew happens to be 3 years old now as well. And
nice.
Yeah, he's certainly a ride as well. Christmas magic really returns when you have kids in the house, which is really the best part. That's, instead of just sitting around the tree and being like, here's your present, enjoy. It's like kids just fucking body checking their presents and ripping them apart.
Yeah, beautiful, decadent, gluttonous materialism.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
no,
I mean, those kids,
it's not about the materialism, it's about the joy in their eyes. That's the
fucking, you see the hunting instinct in their eyes as they see their prey under the tree.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Gonna fuck up these gifts, guys. Gonna get them all. Yeah, no,
yeah.
Great.
Oh yeah, he did unwrap everyone's presents. He's like, I'm helping you. I'm like, okay, go ahead, help
very
me.
Helpful, very helpful.
Yeah,
love it.
Very helpful. Lovely.
What about you, Anger?
Well, since my parents are divorced, so I was with my mom's side of the family this year, and there's actually no kids left. Like the youngest one is my younger brother.
What did you do with all
13.
these kids? There's no. The Krampus got all of them.
But my younger brother is 13, so he is the youngest. So we don't have any more of those typical like toy gifts. But both my cousins on my mom's side and my older and younger brother are gamers. So
rise up.
So we had a lot of fun playing games together, but it was not so fun when they played fucking Hearthstone and they don't know what the fuck Artifact is.
Ooh.
You gotta teach them.
Show them the way.
Yeah, I don't know. The only relation they have to Artifact, I think, is Magic the Gathering, because you have Artifact cards there.
Right.
Yeah, man, you just learn it, and then you teach them the Artifact. I mean, it's good to learn about the other card games, because like there's a whole interesting history that like goes into all of that, which I think is really fascinating. So, for instance, actually, like just on that topic of the history, that reminds me, I did a video over the break as well on it was in response to some of the stuff about the patches. It was actually talking about like the economy of Artifact and some of the economic impacts of what happened with the economic like update, basically of like how it relates to the economy, because we got some balance changes and we got some the progression changes add into it. I don't think we're going to talk a ton today about the implications of what that means for the economics of it, because it's a kind of a separate thing, because there's a lot to talk about anyway. But I did that, and part of the reason why is I thought there was an interesting tie-in to some of the history of MTG that was happening there. So that's on my YouTube channel if anybody wants to check that out. But of course, we do have a fuck ton to talk about today, including a segment at the end that I think will be a lot of fun. I'm not going to reveal just yet. But so to start with, though, we're going to jump right in talking about what happened with the giant patch that dropped. It would be last week. I know it's a little bit of old news, but we haven't had a chance to cast because what the fuck are they doing? Like releasing it right before the holidays. I mean, I might have that they did it, but
because that's when all the losers game. You know,
I mean,
that's
they wanted
when gamers
they
can
wanted
finally be alone and just play games.
They wanted to satisfy Reddit, and we all know they don't have friends and family.
That's true. They just have Reddit.
Yeah.
They don't even have the game at this point. They just go to Reddit to fucking bitch. Okay, so let us talk through stuff that was happening there. First off, right off the top, we actually got some balance changes.
Big.
Let's start with these, and I'll just run through quickly of what they were and get your reactions to them. At first, there's a little bit of a preamble about like they're changing their philosophy to how they're doing like a balancing, etc., and kind of like emphasizing the idea of like, you know, we wanted to this is part of like what this video that I was talking about was about, is like we wanted to, you know, limit the amount of card changes. Before we thought that was going to be the best, but this doesn't really match up with people's expectations. I just wanted to get like, do you guys have any reactions to that sort of preamble? I'm not going to read through it, but did you have any thoughts?
I think that is absolutely huge. Honestly, you can almost say that we are ending up with a completely different game in terms of mentality and philosophy here, because instead of thinking of like value retention, etc., they're going to just keep balancing cards, etc. They're going to focus on the competitive side of the game, and I think that's just super healthy for the future of Artifact. And the fact that they made this huge paradigm shift just weeks after release, I think really speaks for Valve's flexibility.
Anger, do you have any thoughts?
I really like that they added ranked, because I feel like before they added ranked, there was no real incentive to play, other than that, you know, the game is fun and I want to play the game because it's fun, but no real incentive to grind the game and actually play the game and try to get better, you know, other than getting perfect runs. But now that there is a rank and you can see a number rising, I don't think it, like, of course, I'm not gonna just embrace it and say that the game is fixed now. I think there's still like the ranked mode isn't perfect, but at least it's something. And also, I'm missing an option to disable.
Hey! We'll leave that. We'll leave that. Okay. So, so this change though in the balance mindset that they're talking about here, I think is really important and it makes a big difference. So let's talk about the specific card changes. First off, we have Axe changing from 7 to 11 to 6 to 10 in stats, which is a really big change. I think that especially that losing that one attack point makes a huge difference. Because that 7 cutoff point made a really big difference. We're able to kill especially blue heroes. So like Zeus, Ogre Magi, it almost kills Luna, but not quite, I guess. There's some other ones that I'm missing that are 7 health, right?
Do you think that's why Mono Blue all of a sudden is so strong, because they can't be one-shot by Axe all the time anymore?
So I think there's a couple of reasons why. So one of them, though, I actually think is this change. That makes a really big difference, that like Zeus and Ogre in the flop are just much safer. And then second has to do with actually the change to Cheating Death, which we'll talk about later, because Cheating Death is the best counter to Annihilation. So now green decks are just fucked up by Annihilation.
Exactly.
So with this, then, okay, so those are the changes, and so I think that the change to the attack points is a much bigger deal than the health change, which isn't that surprising given the fact that he has 2 armor and like 10 health. Like he's still fucking unkillable, like for the early turns of the game. But so what did you guys think of this change?
I think it's good. I think he's still playable though because of his card.
Oh yeah,
but it's still like it's significant.
Yeah.
Not necessarily for like as a red player you would still play Axe, but I think as any other color player it's just so much easier to deal with. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Once again, this is Valve balancing, so they decided not to just straight up kill a card in order to nerf it. Axe is still very strong. Axe is still one of the most viable red cards. but they toned him down a little. More cards survive against him, especially the cards that were also adjusted in this patch. There's a couple that were raised from 6 health points up to 7, which also moves them out of Axis kill range. But we'll get to that.
But that being said, I have seen people playing only Legion Commander and Bristleback now instead of
That's
Axe.
what I do.
have seen some of that.
Yeah.
But Bristleback is crap though, so I don't understand why people do that.
That's
He's actual garbage. Like, he's trash.
I mean, the Bristleback now, though, like, I think that with this change, it makes Bristleback relatively better, and the reason why has to do with that he is now, so Legion, the fact that Legion and Bristleback can get these turn 1 kills pretty easily, while Axe can no longer do that, I think is a noticeable difference. I still think that Bristleback is overrated relative to what some other people think about it. I mean, not anger. I'm a little bit better than anger.
Listen, okay. The thing with Bristleback, what he does is, yes, he kills a hero first round. Yes, he might kill a hero second round, but what does his signature card do? Absolutely nothing. And the thing is, killing heroes is good, yes. You get gold, you deny him a hero for a round, but what does it really do? What you want to kill is creeps who die forever. The only thing Bristleback does is he sits there killing heroes, getting more armor so he's unkillable, but he doesn't actually do anything. Like, he wins the lane, loses the game, okay? Especially now that people have realized that red isn't as good as it seemed.
Personally, I'm running...
Killing a hero the first round is not such a big deal.
True, but there's also a significant amount of growth that Bristleback does get over the course of the game if you play it smart. Especially if you redirect aggro, so he actually kills the things that are blocking him.
8 armor! I'm so scared of his 8 armor.
And also, again, like, I'm the guy who likes to try and make things that seem bad look a little better. And yes, his card
but
is
he doesn't
a little...
seem bad, though. The common opinion is that he's the best fucking hero in the game because he's so big. But he's trash because he doesn't do anything.
Well, I think that his signature card is actually not that terrible, because modifying something with -2 armor is really not that bad if you use it on squishy things. Suddenly, even creeps deal a significant amount of damage every round.
Yeah, it's something that I've been playing a little bit of the mono blue deck, and the vicious nasal goo is actually a pain in the ass, because like you have these squishy heroes that just become ultra squishy, and it's like hard to just keep them alive at all. Like, yeah, it's something that I haven't. So the card is better than I thought it was initially. I was a lot lower on the card than a lot of other people were initially, but so that's an interesting one though, and I'm interested to see how his stock kind of like goes up or down relative to this. I think that one of the things that's most interesting though is that Axe has been moved very much to in some cases a 5 position hero, like the river heroes as well, partly because he's just not as good in that forward position of being able to actually combat in turn 1. But how about we move on then to Bloodseeker? This was changed from a 7/6 to a 7/7, and the ability, his card rather, was changed to 4 cost versus 5 cost. And I think that this is actually a pretty significant change for the purposes of draft, because, well, I still think that he's a little bit underpowered for the purposes of constructed, because like I think that the endurance and the survivability isn't really what constructed is about. It's about like immediate impact and especially these impactful signature cards, but the fact that he has so much that going from 6 to 7, as I was kind of mentioning, is this kind of like critical point of like what different heroes can do this kind of damage, and that makes him a lot more survivable, means that he's going to actually endure a lot more in lane in draft, and then also that Blood Rage ability, like going from 5 to 4 is a big deal, because it's just a lot easier to use it more efficiently, combine it with other spells, and it's honestly like okay as a card. It's not great, but it's versatile at the very least.
Yeah, and it has gotten better in comparison to what the ceiling of silence cards used to be.
True.
And honestly, it is a pretty flexible card, with being able to buff a card a little more if you're not planning on playing any more spells with that hero. You can get some more tower damage with it, or, get someone into kill range. It is a more flexible card now, and I think that Bloodseeker has become much more playable. Which, you know, black was already one of the, you know, best designed colors in my opinion, because it has the most variety of viable heroes. So this is very welcome.
What do you think of the new Bloodseeker, Anger?
I'm just waiting for a fucking jungle and artifact so I can fucking jungle him.
Oh yeah? Waiting for those iron talons to come back?
Yeah. That's all I want, the jungle.
I mean, that would be actually really cool if there was like some jungle lane that showed up and there are just creeps there that you could farm. That'd be actually really sweet.
Yeah. Maybe there's gonna be, man, like you can play around so much in your head with like actual jungle cards, like a whole set of cards about gain, like disable this hero for a round, gain this and this much gold.
Listen. Okay, so there's a special thing on certain heroes that's like jungler, okay? So on all centaur cards would be a jungler because they're hunters, you know? And on, for example, Legion Commander and Bloodseeker, who are known jungle heroes, they would also have this. And they get +2 gold when they kill creeps and -2 gold when they kill heroes. So you get 3 gold for all units. And that way they're viable as a jungler in the sense that there's not a jungle,
right.
But you want them to kill creeps and not heroes for the gold.
Well, see,
and the Iron Talon makes it even further.
Oh, yeah?
It gives even further +2 gold for creeps and -2 for heroes. So you get 5 gold for creeps and only 1 gold for heroes.
Oh yeah, you could do it like a
and instead of giving +2 attack, it gives cleave.
Yeah, it's like a reversed skinning knife, poaching knife.
Yeah,
where it's like you equip. Oh yeah, you equip the Iron Talon and your hero becomes a jungler. Nice.
See, I actually think that you could just do a whole thing of a jungle, like a jungle lane.
Yeah.
That like, I don't know, there's something that you do to create it, and then you can put heroes there that to like farm creeps. They give extra gold, and also like they might even have something like whenever you kill one of these creeps that they get +1 attack, +1 health modified to them as well, to kind of like show leveling up, and then you have the ability that you can move from the jungle lane to any of the other lanes, like when you wanted to, but like the jungle is just kind of like a solo experience, though, so you're not actually like pushing a tower or anything like that. I mean, it's probably like really complicated, so we're not going to see that.
Yeah. You mean it would be like a slot that you can deploy heroes into? Yeah.
Like you could deploy a hero into the jungle lane if you wanted to, and just farm up. But then you would have to be like 5v4 in the real 3 lanes, and that I mean, it ends up being this like kind of like messy thing that I'm even describing it. I'm like, wow, there's a lot of rules around this that seem really complicated.
That sounds like a pure ramp mechanic in a way.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it would be. I'm just interested in playing around with that idea. I don't think that they're going to implement it at least anytime soon, but it'd be really sweet. Okay, so I think though the Bloodseeker does have some possibilities more for draft now. Now we do get onto the change that I think a lot of people were anticipating. I know that we were anticipating it, and that's the cheating death. Now what exactly they changed though was interesting. Mana cost changed from 5 to 4. Then the new text on it is as an active ability where it gives a death shield to a hero in the lane, and you need to have a green hero in lane in order to activate it. So this was something that we had kind of said on the cast before, that there's probably some way to use death shields in order to recreate some of the effect of cheating death. But I can tell you right now that this is way less powerful, way less powerful than it was before.
Yeah, even though they reduced the mana, but the problem is that it simply isn't the same kind of utility card anymore. It doesn't do the same thing. It doesn't protect your wide lineup anymore. It just protects a single hero, and it is still vulnerable when your green hero is taken out of the lane. So in the end, you'll end up protecting your green hero just to keep the card active.
I honestly am already thinking that this should be buffed again. Because I think that this is too weak right now, because a combination of things. One, it's an active ability, and active abilities like just holding the initiative, using the initiative in order to activate and manage this is just a huge cost.
Yeah,
it's really tough to get that, because like for instance, like you're like in a lane, like for instance, you're going into a lane that you think that your opponent is going to annihilate it. If you have to have initiative going into that lane in order to save any of your shit, and then even then you're only saving one thing, and that's just so easy to recount or whatever. So I think that it's really hard to use this well right now.
It is. I think this version of cheating death is better in like red-green decks maybe, which overall, because green has become so bad now in constructed, is probably not that good anyways. But that's like the only thing I can imagine where you keep saving your big beefy red guys just so they stay longer on the board maybe. But yeah, this is just a very different card for a very different kind of deck, and overall just less useful.
So I think that, like, if I, for instance, had to do a change to this as of right now, I would honestly say that it changes from give a unit a death shield this round to give a unit a death shield. And so that you can, for instance, spend a couple turns building them up. And, like if you have it all active, and so that you do have a bit of a pre-built defense against something like Annihilation. And I mean, it does mean that you're snowballing a given lane. Maybe it does snowball a little bit too hard to do that, but as it is right now, I just think the card doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I think that.
And also, it doesn't require a green hero.
Require a green hero. I could also see them just changing it. That I think doing both of those changes might be a bit too much, but either one of those changes to me seems fine.
Yeah, this is definitely a shut up about cheating death nerf. So I'll say this one is probably over-nerfed. And yeah, in return, blue is getting super powerful thanks to Annihilation.
Oh, yeah. Because this just doesn't work anymore, basically, to counter Annihilation. Like, unless you have something, just like one big fatty that's already been, like, for instance, you hit by the Time of Triumph or something like this, with the cheating death, that you can keep it alive. Like, Annihilation still just ruins you. So I just don't think this card is good. Next up, we have Drow Ranger. And the change was just to Gust, actually. So it wasn't Drow Ranger, the change was just Gust. And the new text is silence an enemy hero and its allied neighbors this round. So it doesn't hit all of them, it just hits one hero and then its allied neighbor. So it does hit units now, at least, but that obviously isn't what you're using.
Oh damn! Then Rubik, then Rix isn't as good anymore. Because it's one thing that he can silence creeps.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this allows you to silence any creeps, but now you can. His allows you to silence any creeps, but this you have to be beside the other thing. But yeah, no.
Yeah, this one is still anchored to a hero.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think about Drow Ranger now? Let's start with Anger.
I still like her. I mean, she's still not as good as she was before, but she was very overpowered before. I think now she's just a good hero. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think it's fairer now, because in a way, Gust before the nerf was almost like a finisher for 4 mana. Like, silencing the whole lane meant that it's pretty much game-winning with initiative in the later rounds.
So this is actually, I think, also one of the other reasons that mono blue is so good right now. Because, for instance, if you had a lane in which you had to, like I've been playing, as I said, but like mono blue a bit, and one of the things that you realize in the deck is that your heroes are very expendable. Your heroes die all the fucking time, and look, you're just like kind of okay with that. This is actually something they were talking about a little bit on the Seatory Cup cast, is that it's almost nice to have heroes constantly dying, because you kind of have this constant rotation of moving them into different lanes, and you're using Annihilation and like massive damage effects in order to kill your opponent's stuff. So giving them a little bit of extra gold and a little bit of extra resources in that respect isn't that big of a deal. But one of the how this relates to this is that if there's a lane that I want to annihilate, I am very comfortable sending 2 blue heroes to that lane, and just expecting, like, okay, one of them is going to get hit or killed, and then the other one is going to pull off the annihilation, because like that's just you're fine with one of your heroes getting just an extra hero getting sucked up by the annihilation, if that's what's necessary to do in order to actually take over the lane or save the lane.
Yeah.
So the fact that Drow Ranger's ability now only hits, like, you can only guarantee to hit one, of the heroes in the lane means that kind of strategy, that kind of approach to it, so that even if you're getting into this lane without an initiative, you can very consistently annihilate, as opposed to before where they could just gust and then you're locked out.
This is one of those nerfs where you have to remember that you cannot really discuss a signature card without taking the attached hero stats and ability into account. Because a lot of people have been saying, wow, this version of Gust is almost too weak, but you still got to remember that passive ability of Drow Ranger to pretty much buff everything on the board.
Yeah.
I think it is balanced right now. I think it's fair, but yes, there are some meta shifts with making both red and green weaker that Valve will have to look at. Like blue will have to be looked at.
Yeah, I think that really what it is that green just needs a little bit more, power level in a couple of places, like I was saying with Cheating Death. But I mean, I think the Drow Ranger now, I think as you're mentioning, it's like just goes now to the status of a very good hero as opposed to absolute tippity top quality. Like it's more in line with things like Zeus and Luna and Kana and such.
Yeah.
Jasper Daggers as the next one. It had its gold cost changed from 7 to 5, which is a massive improvement. And then it also has new text on it where when you equip it, it still has the +2 attack and pierce. And then when you equip it, it purges your opponent's effects from equipped hero. That is really massive, honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly,
it's
with
huge.
Yeah, honestly, with this new equip effect, they should have at least kept the gold cost. Going down to 5 is insane to me. Like just last cast, I was talking about people sleeping on Jasper Daggers because I thought Pierce alone is better than people thought with, when high armor was still more of a problem. Once again, this patch actually nerfs armor strategy all around as well. This equip effect is really strong. And I don't know if you guys saw Swim's analysis of the patch yet, but he talked about Jasper Daggers and this purge effect at length and how it pretty much nerfs any hero that has a big disable, like Earthshaker or even OD,
Hunter,
and OD who was buffed this patch. Because at first people were like thinking, wow, with these nerfs to red and green, there's more blue heroes that are viable thanks to their disables like Earthshaker and OD. But now it's like, oh, there's a 5 gold item that just purges the effect immediately.
This also is another nerf to Drow Ranger, actually, because it purges off silence effects. This is the first time that we have a purge effect that you can play through silence, or through stun, and that makes it super powerful to counter those types of strategies. I think that this card is spectacular. I don't think that you go as far as playing 3 in like all of your decks, but some decks I think are going to play at least 2, and you're going to be very happy with it, depending on your vulnerability to whatever kind of effects your opponents have access to. So this is definitely a card to keep your eye on a lot.
Yeah, this already saved my ass in several games.
Yeah, and there's also other like cute combos. Like one of the cards that has been starting to see a little bit of play now, as it's like a one of, is actually Glyph of Confusion. So that is the 6 cost improvement that stuns your your opponent's effects. So it stuns units that enter the lane, and this means that if for instance, your opponent uses something like that, then you can use the Jasper Daggers to purge off the stun effects after your hero comes into the lane. There's just lots of interesting applications to this card.
Yeah, I will say that it has been very refreshing with this patch because there's been a lot more experimentation at every skill level. Like streams have been more interesting because even pros have been experimenting more with different lineups, and my pubby experience has been improved as well with a much higher variety of decks. I'm sure that it'll settle down very soon, and I think Jesper Daggers will have to get looked at, because this will open up even more problems in the design space of the game later on. But
I don't think that it has that big of a forward compatibility issue. I think that like I had actually been thinking for a while. Like I think that there needs to be an item that has a purge effect attached to it. This is definitely a powerful version of what I had in mind.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if they increased the cost to 6, but at the same time, like I think that it's fine as a card to exist in the game, at least for a little while, and kind of see what happens. Definitely, there's no real urgency in changing things. If I was going to make suggestions as to what the next balance changes might need to be, it would be something in blue, possibly, and then the cheating death, of course.
Yeah. This is definitely a typical thing for Valve to do. They like to overturn new mechanics in a way where they know that it's probably too strong, because they want to gather data, and at least they know in which direction they have to change an item. They often said that when you try to introduce a new mechanic or something in a balanced way right away, you'll get voices from both sides saying, oh, it's too strong or it's too weak, and you don't know where to go. If you make something a little too strong, you at least know that you're going to have to nerf it, and the community will give you feedback which way it should be nerfed. Like, is it the gold? Is it the attack value? Blah, blah, blah.
Yep. Okay. Angry, did you have any comments on Jesper Daggers?
No, I think it's great.
Yeah. Lion. So I'm just going to pass this one over to Simon, since he's number one in the Lion Flan Club, of course.
Oh, lionize
number one
me.
in the line.
Oh, lionize me. Yeah, this is basically a change that is kind of related to a change that Lion got in Dota 2 recently, where his Finger of Death ultimate improves with every kill that he gets, or, kill within the next few seconds of casting it, where now they introduced a new mechanic in Artifact called Quicken, which I'm sure we'll see more of in the next expansion. Which basically means reduce cooldown by 1, but not below 1. So you're not going to be able to cast it more than once every turn, but you're going to be able to.
Feels kind of broken at 0
to
me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, exactly. So Quicken means reduce cooldown by 1, but not below 1. Honestly, this isn't actually too much of a change. The description of this new mechanic is more interesting than the actual change they applied, because you're gonna be able to cast it maybe one more time in a match now, which is pretty good with 8 piercing damage. What is it? A cooldown of 4 or 5? 4, right?
4.
Yeah. That means you're gonna cast it for the first time at mana 7, and then instead of mana 11, it's gonna be mana 10. So it is now in reach, even for the average game, to cast it a second time. That is a buff, but it's definitely not as insane as some people thought when they read the new description.
Okay, listen. So
Here we go.
in black and Lion's signature card, there is a lot of taking the opponent's mana, right? You have the Tyler State, you have Arcane Censure, whatever, you have Lion's signature card. So this way, you can easily, super easy, make the games go to like 20 mana. You just always fucking slow down the enemy's mana pool, so the games last for fucking hours, okay?
Yeah.
And that's where you can Finger of Death fucking everything. This is what they had planned for black. That is why they had all these shitty mana cards like Tyler Estate and Arcane Censure. They were building up for this moment where you can Finger off every round.
Yeah, you do definitely have a point. I believe that they had planned to introduce Quicken with the first expansion, and this just gives us, just like equip effects, this gives us a little peek at what Valve is planning for the future of Artifact. And I am looking forward to stacking Quicken effects on heroes.
So I think that like part of this with I'm imagining this is more draft focused in some respects than constructed focused, because you just need the games to go longer than they tend to go in constructed. But I think that in draft, this, how Anger is describing it, I think is actually kind of realistic, because if you get the game to go to, maybe you don't know, go like all the way to Tyler Estate Sensor and not Tyler Estate, rather Tyler Estate Sensor is fine, but Tyler Estate or whatever. But what you can do is you slow the game down, and because what you need to do is get to mana 13. When you get to mana 13, then you have like it's permanent uptime on Finger of Death. You just finger fucking everything.
Yeah.
So that you just think every turn you do it. Now, one thing to note though is that doesn't work necessarily if he dies for it, because you would actually need to finger things on time. Otherwise, it's not going to. You're not going to get the quicken effect on time, so it'll be all delayed. But if you can do that, now he's just super powered. He's just like 8 damage, 8 damage, 8 damage every turn, and that's really terrifying. So if you can build, like I can imagine this especially in a really grindy, a green black deck or green blue deck in green black deck or black blue deck in draft, that you can just delay the game for this long and then have him really come online there, and it's just going to really take over the game. So I think that's interesting as a play pattern and as a kind of a new approach to a strategy, especially if you get like multiple lions. I almost feel like it makes them stack even better, because you can just say, I don't care what's going on, I just need to survive until turn 13 or mana 13, and then the game is just over.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, in constructed too, because all you need is a vesture and a blink, and you're unstoppable.
Okay.
That's all you need. And games that go to mana 13, for sure, you will at one point have enough gold to get that for him.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the future with maybe it's Ether Lens, maybe it's something like Rearm, where we just stack refresh and quicken effects on top of each other and things just get crazy.
Yeah, I think there's a lot that you can do in that space with the quicken effects. I think that seems really cool as a mechanic. Next, we have Outworld Devourer. He was buffed from a 4/6 to a 4/7. I personally still think this card is aggressively trash. And, and I don't think this changes that in the slightest. What about the two of you?
I think it got better.
Still trash.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not gonna try and sell this as like a huge buff. Yes, it is just a little smidgen to make him just a tiny bit more survivable. I don't think
that was his problem, though. I think his problem was the fact that has a terrible ability and a terrible card.
Yeah, and the problem is that thanks to Jasper Daggers, his ability it got even worse. Yeah, got even worse. His card did.
Timbersaw.
Well, one thing though, now that Mono Blue is on the rise, who knows? Maybe it's 25% to get 1 mana back or whatever his shitty ability is. Maybe it's actually viable now, because it's when you play blue cards, right?
Yeah.
In the Mono Blue meta, maybe.
I don't know, man.
Here's the thing, like Outhouse Demolisher and Crystal Maiden both profit from a larger card pool. So I do think that these cards will improve as the game, moves on. But yeah, right now with where we are right now with the base set, they are pretty shitty. I will defend Crystal Maiden. I've seen some really good stuff with her. That extra 2 mana can move mountains. So
I'm actually like, now that Anger has mentioned that, I think I'm going to try this at some point in Mono Blue just to see how it works. I'm still really skeptical. I think that it's probably still trash, but I'll give him a chance. So do something busted. Timbersaw is up next. He has been changed to that he gives each of his attackers -1 armor. So it used to be that he got +1 armor for every attacker, and that was it. But now he gets +1 armor and they get -1 armor. This is once again a more draft focused change. Timbersaw is still way too underpowered for constructed in my mind, but I mean, it definitely steps him up of being, I think, very confidently a better than Keith in my mind, because that's -1 or like any negative armor effects can be quite powerful.
Because is a direct buff to his ability and an indirect buff to his signature card, Willing Death.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, it really does help with a lot of that. And then it also makes it that he combos a lot better now, too. Like, for instance, in draft, it's not that crazy to get something like a Ogre Magi with him. And they are a really sick combo because if you can set up the Knights in the lane with Timbersaw, then it really amplifies the damage.
Yeah, especially I can see him in Constructed combined with blue as well when you include Ventriloquy. That is a really strong card on him now. Taunting.
I think that's a little bit much of a stretch, but we'll have to see. But I think at the very least, like, I mean, I know that he was playable in draft before. If he was just never something that I was particularly excited about playing. But now I think I'm a little bit more interested in including him in my deck. I'm going to have to still get used to where to put him in the pick order kind of thing, but definitely better. Noticeably better.
Noticeably.
Yeah. Okay, and then let's talk briefly about the skill ranking system and then the account buffing systems that we got as well. So basically there's a constructed ranking and a draft ranking that have been added to your account that as you get wins that those increase. I think that it just counts wins. I'm not sure exactly how it works just yet, but it seems to be how it's working from what I can see.
Honestly, the funniest part about the whole thing is that we actually don't know exactly how it works. Like, so it's been so funny because people actually don't know, but they're still either happy or angry about it.
Yeah.
I really love that there is ranked now. I don't like the rank that is here now. It's not perfect. It's not that great, but it is something. It gives an incentive to play and grind and get better. So I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, it is definitely a start. It opens up a lot of possibilities for later when it comes to unlocks and all that.
Yeah, I feel like so for me, like this says that it's tied to a season. We don't know what those seasons are yet, right? Like,
yeah, we don't know how long they are.
We have okay. So so there's that, and then it seems to just be tied to the numbers of wins, and I just like that feels kind of strange and weird to me. I don't know. And then also I would kind of like to have something like a leaderboard. That would be kind of neat for it.
Then play Featured Gauntlet, dude.
Featured Gauntlet, yeah.
I want a fucking number on my rank. Like in Dota. I want to climb a fucking number, okay? Like a fucking chest score. That's what I want. That's what I need.
Yeah, people want that EPN.
Yeah, no, I do. I totally do.
It's true.
But when you win, you get points. When you lose points. I don't want to rank up as I get experience. You know, that's level. That's not ranked. That's level.
Yeah, but there is I mean, they did do a ranking thing, and again, we just don't know how it works in the background because they did do the same thing in Dota, where you now get this, this emblem, this little medal that does not decrease over the season, but your MMR does decrease. Like, there still is a matchmaking rating that decreases in the background, and you can check it, but there's no way to check that in Artifact right now. There must, and there definitely is one working in the background. They just don't let us see it quite yet.
Let me fucking see it, pal.
Yeah. No, I would want to see it too, because it would be really cool.
Yeah.
But one of the things for it too is I think it's especially helpful for people who are trying to make a name for themselves in the community in one way or another, because it's one of those things you're like, hey, I'm top 100, top 10. And this is the deck that I use to get top 100 or top 10. So that's one thing. And also just like you can actually see your progress of it, because I personally feel like I'm getting better over time and then I'm winning more, but it's like hard to really feel that without some sort of numerical thing to tie it to. And especially it's also like I don't know exactly who I'm playing against in terms of what their skill levels is. So all of that makes me really want to see it a little bit more explicitly, but I guess it's just not what's happening right now.
Yeah, everyone's trying to do a dick measurement without knowing the average.
Yeah, man, it's the important part.
Yeah.
So that's any more comments on that before we move on?
What's the point of having a huge dick like I do if I can't fucking
Show it
dab on
off.
people and flex on them?
Yeah.
The point of big dicks is to show them off, right? You know, you gotta wave it around. Don't you just hide it. Come on.
Yeah, you got a T-pose to assert dominance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so with that, then let's go on to our last segment for the day, which I think is the most important of the content that we're going to talk about right now. And that is about our... actually, I would let Anger set this up. How about you tell us where this started from?
Yes. Valve has, in the game of Artifact, put 2 demons that are there to torment the player. The only reason the fucking imps are in the game is to tilt you, okay? To drive you fucking insane and make you have nightmares, okay? That is the only reason why they're in the game. And that is why I found somebody sent me the Reddit post about how to remove them from the game. And so I did. And I have never had better games of Artifact in my life, okay? It was so fucking nice. No imps there to torment me. I've never had higher win rates after I removed the imps. New patch came out. I downloaded the patch. They were there again. I removed them again. Everything was dandy, okay? This was the small patch before the newest one. Everything was dandy. Everything was nice. I had the best games of my fucking life. Then, the most recent patch came the other day. I tried to murder them. Again, I tried to get rid of the fucking piece of shit little demons. And it didn't work, okay? My games didn't fucking start. I reinstalled. I tried again. Game didn't fucking start. And now, the game is fucking unplayable. Because they are there to tilt me and torment me. I quit Dota, okay? Because I have management issues. I quit Dota, and I thought Artifact would be my savior. The game I could play. Single player, nobody to tilt me. And then, there's the fucking imps. Fucking tormenting my nightmares, okay? They follow me everywhere. I see them everywhere, okay?
Okay. So, you might have caught from this little rant that Anger is not a fan of the imps. So I am an imp defender. And so just for what we're gonna do here, just so that we know, we'll just have a little bit of a debate. You have a little bit of a chance to have our speak our piece, and I'll be the imp defender, and Anger is going to be the imp attacker, aggressor, and then actually Simon here is going to be both referee and judge of who he thinks.
I don't think that's fair though, because Simon's like a big fan of like cosmetics and shit. He's biased, okay? He's fucking biased.
Yeah, no, he's the only other person here. Like, I don't like who else is gonna be the judge here. I don't like.
I can be the fucking judge, and I judge them guilty in ruining my fucking games, okay?
Oh man, rip people's ears. I'm sorry. I'll turn this all down for you guys. Save you from the rage, full volume rage of Anger here. Okay, I'm gonna defend these little guys.
Impress me.
So really, the imps are they're just here to help people out. They're trying to, help the game function better. You just don't appreciate their contributions. They're moving your deck from place to place. Like that deck doesn't just move by itself. You have to have the imps to actually carry it for you. So you don't have them in the game, then you just don't have your deck in your next lane. It's like, what are you gonna do? Then they also they carry that button around for you in their shopping phase. Like that's important. Need to be able to press the button there. And if you didn't have the imps holding it, like, well, what are you gonna do? You have no button. So like they're just like holding this like really important function in the game of like directing, like they're kind of like the ushers of Artifact, that they're making everything run smoothly. The oil that greases all the wheels of it. I mean, sure, they can get really excited about their job sometimes, be a little bit over the top for it. Not everybody's about that, but they're also just trying to add to the fun of the game, trying to be merry. That's why they have the little Santa hats now. They're trying to be merry and cheerful and bring a little bit of joy to the game, so that soulless sons of bitches who are only about showing off their digital dicks aren't just playing the game for trying to kill people. That they're just able to enjoy themselves hanging out with their little impy friends. So I think that they're an important part of the game, making sure they function correctly, making all the pieces flow together well at the same time as being just cheerful little friends to spend some time with in a game of Artifact.
So,
Neon, I see what you're saying. I see exactly what you're saying. So, would you want the imps to fucking wipe your ass for you? Would you want the imps to fucking feed you? Do you need them to help you with everything in your fucking life? Can you not fucking move some cards on your own? I think they are rather condescending, actually. They're like flying around, moving everything for you, like as if I can't move my fucking deck myself. Okay, it's 2019. I'm a strong woman. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Okay, I don't need some bitch ass little imp to move my fucking button for me. Okay, I'll press it myself. Thank you very much. Okay.
damn.
So you're saying that the imps are sexist? You're saying that
Help, you say. Help, you say, as they smirk at you, as they dance in front of the exposed ancient, as if you don't already know, and you're already beating yourself up at the game you're about to lose. Yeah, help. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, imp, for making me not want to queue for another fucking piece of shit game.
Have you noticed though that your ancient is exposed? Have you noticed though?
I mean, that's what he's trying to help with.
That I'm losing the game because I hadn't noticed.
But
Thanks for wiping my ass and feeding me because I'm a baby who can't do anything on my own.
But did you notice there's no units on your side of the board?
They're just making sure that you notice, like, you're dying. It's like, hey, your tower is about to take 3,000 damage. Did you know that your tower is about to take 3,000 damage? What if you didn't know? What then? Like, what if you're, I don't know, fucking blind? I guess if you're fucking blind, then the imp isn't helping anyway. But because you can't see that either. Yeah. But, you know, he's just there to just, like, instruct and give you some strategic advice. Like, when you're going to win the game, it says you should press the button that lets you win the game. Right? Important strategic advice.
Yeah.
My point still stands. Okay, it's condescending as fuck. They're just there to make 80 IQ people's lives easier, okay? Just so that 80 IQ people that don't know what the fuck is going on, can't move their own fucking cards, they are there to help. Just like as you're on an elderly home, okay?
He's on your side. Okay? He's on your side.
If he was on my side, he wouldn't tilt me the fuck out, okay? He wouldn't troll me the fuck up.
He's like your little Yoda.
I think the problem is that you're overestimating the intelligence of the Artifact players. What if the average IQ of the Artifact players is 75? What then? You know? Like, clearly you've been have you been on the Reddit? Have you been on the Reddit? Clearly, the IQ not up there with all the players. We need to help them out.
That is why. And listen, this is how I'm going to win the debate, because it's not a matter of removing the imps or keeping them. It's a matter of giving every player an option to disable them, so that people who aren't 80 IQ can disable them and then win some fucking games. Damn. And then Neon, with a 60 IQ, can put them back on so somebody can change his fucking diapers for him. Okay?
See, you're just not appreciating the help that they bring to the game. You know, like you just don't see it. Like it's for your own good, Anger. You know,
everyone wins if they made an option to disable them. Everyone wins.
It is for your own good. They are there to help out. If you maybe you're that target person. Maybe you're the person. Maybe that's why. Maybe Valve said they watched your games. They watched your game. And they said this person losing games, not following the imps instructions, because she disabled the imps. Okay. That's what they saw. They're like, we need to put them back in the game for the sake of Anger. That's why they did this.
Now she can't disable them anymore.
Yeah,
now she has to
just trying to help. We're just trying to help her.
Right. Well, if you ask me, guys, there is no bad RNG in the game. There's only bad creep care. There's only bad imp care. You gotta take care of your imps, and they'll treat you good. Who's drawing the cards? Who's shuffling? Who's shuffling the deck?
In all honesty,
who's shuffling the deck?
Why is it not an option? The fucking role players who want to keep the imps, they can keep them, and those who don't want them, they can disable them. Everyone fucking wins. Nobody loses. In fact, Valve even wins because more people will keep playing the game because they won't quit after 2 games because they're trolled into oblivion.
Yeah, can I be a little real right now? There's never going to be an option for that because they want to sell you imp cosmetics, and people are not just spending money to see those cosmetics themselves because it's fashion, right? They are spending money so you see it. So you see all that bling bling on their little imp.
Oh yeah, I'm so impressed.
Well, if
do you know why cosmetics in a game? So that people who are low skill can still have cosmetics and that way play the game, because they're so fucking bad that the only reason they have to play the game is to flex their fucking cosmetics, okay? When you see a Rubik in your Dota game and he has all the newest fucking cosmetics, you know for a fact he is trash. Because otherwise, you wouldn't have those fucking cosmetics to roleplay.
But have you seen my imp with that big gold chain, though? Oh, man. But really,
the impressive imps.
Actually, I don't just want cosmetics for the existing imps. I hope that they will one day go far enough that we can have entirely different creatures, just like couriers in Dota. I would love a little baby Roshan tilting you.
I gotta find the most tilting one of them and then play it whenever I play against Anger. That'll be the thing.
I want my baby Roshan to walk over to your side of the board and offer you an Aegis of immortality because you're about to lose. That's what I want.
They should make, make an Anger.
You need this?
That goes to the enemy side of the board and takes a fucking dump on their tower, okay?
Yeah. Actually, what I think that they would they're holding back on, and they're going to release it. It's going to be meta defining. It's going to be game breaking. It's going to be the imp emote pack that they had that they're going to come out with. Just fucking you press the button and then it does an animation too with the emote.
Oh my god. Listen.
You're gonna tilt Anger off the face of the fucking planet.
$1 billion idea. Floss dance for your imps.
$1 billion idea. Fucking
$1 billion idea. Bring over.
Fortnite kids will line up. The Fortnite kids will just like flood in.
Oh yeah. Floss dance for your imps.
Way I would play with the imps is if they dabbed. If the imps could dab, I would play them I would not even try to remove them. I would play them with happiness.
Okay. So that's the conclusion. That's the conclusion of the debate. Clearly, the solution that we all knew was coming. That the imps just need to dab, and then everybody's good. That's what.
Dab to save the world.
Okay. Cool stuff. Okay, so that is everything I think for today. I think I'll let you guys decide actually who's the winner on this. So let us know on social media. You can find all of us on the Twitters. I'll have all the links in the description below. And of course, share this with your friends as well. Hopefully they'll find it interesting to hear us talk about patch notes semi-coherently and talk about imps very passionately. But yeah, that'll do it for today. That's everything for me. Simon, do you have anything to plug on the way out of the door?
As always, check out the Artificers Guild and the Artifact Open Circuit. Everyone's welcome.
Indeed. And Anger, how about you?
Well, there's a new Call to Arms episode coming out, and some more comics coming out, and some streams and stuff. But until January, it goes a bit slower because it's Christmas time, it's comfy time. You know how it is.
Yeah, you were watching some chess earlier on your stream. I saw some of that.
Yeah, I love my boy Magnus.
Yeah, he's holding it down. Okay, but yeah, that'll do it for today. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Take care.
Peace.
See ya.
Thank you for your business.
Weird.
Okay, don't put that on the cast, by the way. Me calling my mom a snoring pig. Don't put that on the cast.
Yeah, perfect.
I love my mom.
Okay.